the 2025 Centennial Conclave, Unmasking Lucius Trust's century-long agenda for global transformation, an investigative deep dive into Alice Bailey's UN-connected network and their plan to, quote, externalize the hierarchy, which we've talked about, through global summits and AI rituals. Now, as we dive in, we have to remember Lucis Trust and Alice A. Bailey, they are one and the same. Alice A. Bailey, if you don't know who she is, take the time to look her up. She started with her husband, Foster Bailey, Lucifer Publishing Company. They were disciples of Helena Blavatsky, which Walter Veith had talked at length about Helena Blavatsky, but you're looking at basically the New Age occult version of what the Catholic system is also ingrained in. They're not two separate things. There isn't like a new age coming Maitreya or Christ and this Catholic version of what's coming to rule church and state. They're all describing the same thing, but they're describing it from like different sides, looking at it from different sides, if that makes sense.
Right, because the inside doctrine is the same doctrine, ancient religion of Babylon, so it's gonna have the same doctrinal root regardless of the system you see manifested. I wonder if it's worth mentioning, I don't know, we'll get into this too, but, when we talk about the hierarchy being revealed, it's actually not talking about the demons directly being revealed, it's talking about the spiritual leadership of the world, right?
Well, we also know that when we get closer to the end, though, that it says that the whole world is essentially teeming with demons. It will be that spirit that gets the kings of the earth to unite. So I think when the fullness of the externalization of the hierarchy is realized, it will be done so with demonic spirits looking angelic in nature in some form or fashion, integrating directly with humanity, Christ and his disciples, let's say, showing back up or seemingly so. So, in essence, I think the fullness of the externalization would have, a very outward display of this demonic activity parading around, masquerading as angels of light, basically.
Right, and fully integrating with the prophetic understanding of Revelation 13 when we see signs and wonders and miracles, even fire from heaven, so it all ties together.
Exactly. So let's see when she's quoting Alice A. Bailey. A lot of these quotes are being directly taken from Alice A. Bailey's writings. So if they're not quoted, as always, she's not always quoting all of the quotes, but you'll find them in the writings of Alice A. Bailey. She says, thus, a great new movement is proceeding and a tremendously increased interplay and interaction is taking place. This will go on until 2025. During the years intervening between now and then, very great changes will be seen taking place. And at the great General Assembly of the hierarchy, held as usual every century. So, this is really what we're talking about this once a year meeting that started June 11th. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. And we covered that in a previous episode. That it's not that everything happens in 2025, it's that it's the start of the first stage and the once in 100 years meeting to set the agenda for this stage is happening as we're recording this right now. The present cycle from now until that date is called technically, quote, the stage of the forerunner. It is preparatory in nature, testing in its methods, and intended to be revelatory in its techniques and results. You can see, therefore, that the Chohans, masters, initiates, world disciples, disciples, and aspirants affiliated with the hierarchy are all at this time passing through a cycle of great activity. So, this is from stage 4 of externalization of the hierarchy, adjustments and alignments within the hierarchy. And now we get into Courtney's direct writings. This is the author, her name is Courtney Turner's writings. In esoteric and New Age circles, Alice Bailey's concept of the General Assembly of the Hierarchy is eminently consequential. Alice Bailey, a co Freemason, was a key figure in Theosophy and New Age thought, who wrote extensively about spiritual hierarchy or Great White Brotherhood, a trees of cosmic fire. She described this group as, quote, ascended masters and spiritual beings overseeing humanity's development. Now, I find that one of the first alarm bells that you're dealing with fallen angels is when you see this term ascended masters and spiritual beings. That should be our first alarm bell that we're dealing with fallen angels, essentially. According to Bailey, these entities convene with their human representatives every century with a significant and final assembly set for 2025. That's fascinating to me because that means right now, demonic entities are interacting with their human representatives to explain what the will is of their spiritual overseers to tell them how to prepare the way for the Maitreya or the Christ, as they would call that, to come. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think people can wrap their minds around that this is happening in our reality as we speak right now.
Right, and the people that are involved in this, many of them do not know that the New Age practices they're involved with and communicating with these so-called ascended masters, you are opening up doors that you are not gonna be able to shut on your own, and they're very difficult to deal with.
Yeah. I think more high ranking people are participating in this type of ceremony than we realize.
Yeah.
Very, very high ranking members of society have ascended masters or spiritual beings literally over them, communicating their will to them so they can use their power and wealth. And the human agent then is responsible for going and executing that. And actually, we're talking a lot about Walter in this episode, but he's talked about that specifically about the Jesuits getting high technology and a lot of other information through channeling demonic spirits. Here we're seeing from the occult side that they're doing the same thing, and they're not really hiding it. This is directly in their own writings.
It's reaching into politics, it's reaching into the depths of Hollywood as well.